welcome to another booktube video from me, Lauren, from Lauren and the Books. I hope you're all doing very, very well. Welcome to September. We've made it through the summer. I know September is literally one day away from August and the weather is pretty much going to be the same, I imagine, to start with. It's definitely cooled down, but September to me means autumn and beginning to think about Halloween and Christmas and cooling down and jumpers and stuff. And that's already reflected in the fact I'm wearing a slightly thicker jumpsuit. Actually, I've worn this today because I wore this yesterday. So this is the second day in the row I'm wearing this. I wore this yesterday when I filmed my book haul. And so many people were like, where did you get that? Where did you get that catsuit? So, catsuit? Well, it is a catsuit, I say. It's actually a jumpsuit. A lot of people said a blouse, but it's got these amazing cats on it. And it's a jumpsuit, a denim-y jumpsuit from Joni. Joni Clothing have recently done their second, oh, I've got such an itchy ankle. Their second collaboration with Dawn Porter, and this is from that. I also got the cat cardigan as well, so I'm looking forward to wearing that. It is so warm. I got it in an XL. It fits David too, so we're both going to be sharing that this winter. Because today it just got announced that energy bills have increased to 80%, so I won't be spending any more money on clothes. We'll be just ploughing all my money into energy bills from now on. So lucky I bought that big cardigan so me and David can wear it. Anyway, today's video is my plans for reading for the month of September. It's my September TBR. I've gone big for a number of reasons because I've got a week off in September where I haven't really got all that much planned. I booked the week off because I haven't taken a week, so my annual leave, here we go, my annual leave runs from April, 1st of April to the end of March, and we're taking 3 weeks off. David and I are both taking 3 weeks off over Christmas to get married, but apart from that I hadn't taken anything because I was like, I don't know how much we're going to need when we're getting married and stuff like that, so I hadn't taken any annual leave at all this year apart from the bank holidays. So I thought I deserved a week off. So I've taken a week off in September where I'm going to be doing a lot of reading, making a lot of videos. And yeah, there's just going to be a lot of opportunities for reading in September. More on that in a future video. Yeah, so I've gone big with me TBR, and also because I've got so many books out from the library at the moment. You would have seen I did a massive library haul last week, maybe even the week before that. And I've got reservations coming in all the time. I've still got books from the library that I got out that weren't in that haul. It's just been mad. So I really would like to get through some of my library books this month. And yeah, I've just got lots of nice reading plans. So here we go. 2 minutes 40 into the video. I haven't even showed you one book yet. So let's start with the reading that's sort of, well, I say got to be done. I mean, there's no bad vibes of any of this reading, but this is sort of like the planned reading that will happen sort of early doors. So the first thing is that I will be reading the 5th book in the 6 Tudor Queen series. This is Katheryn Howard, the Tainted Queen. As I said, the 5th book. Beheaded poor Katheryn Howard was, and yeah, looking forward to reading this. The last one I did, I'll link the vlog down below of the Anna of Cleve video. Also, I'll say it wasn't my bestest reading vlog from this series, I think, because I was unwell for a couple of weeks in it, and I was also listening to the audiobook, so I felt like I wasn't doing as much sort of reporting back. But yeah, so I'm going to be reading this as well, reading this instead of listening to it. Let's just have a little glimpse at the old. Oh, so this is the first time, so this is the 5th time I've read one of these books, and this is the first time that we've had the family trees over 2 pages. Oh no! Oh my god, over 3 pages. That is the first time, so I need a good old look at those. So looking forward to reading that and dressing up as Katheryn Howard in pink clothes, and just, yeah. So I'll be filming that from today, the day that you're seeing this. Then for Patreon Book Club, another book that I'm really looking forward to. So the genre for Patreon Book Club this month, and is very much in keeping with how I want the month to go, was sort of like cozy wholesomeness. I mean, imagine that as a genre. And the book that won the vote was The Kitchen Front by Jennifer Ryan, and this is set in the Second World War, and there's a lot of sort of disturbance around the UK's food supply, and in an effort to help housewives with food rationing, a BBC programme called The Kitchen Front launches a new cooking contest, and the grand prize is a job as the show's first ever female co-host. So you're following Audrey, who wants to win this competition in order to pay off her husband's debt, and her sister Gwendolyn also wants to take place, and her own kitchen maid Nell is also going to take place, and then there's Zelda, a London trained chef desperate to succeed in a male dominated profession. And yeah, it sounds amazing. It also looks as though it's interspersed with yeah, so I've just opened here, interspersed with recipes. Audrey's mushroom soup, I love mushroom. You know, I think mushrooms are maybe my favourite thing of all time. I just love them. My favourite food ever. So yeah, I just can't wait to read it. So yeah, if you would like to join in with Patreon Book Club, there's still time. My Patreon is always linked down below. As I said, we're reading this for the month of September, and then well, if you join now, you might even be able to vote. If you're joining, and when you're on the day you're watching this, you might be able to vote in the October video, which is going to be witchy vibes, which is the genre for October. So yeah, witchy vibes, witches and magic. I'll say witches and magic. So that's that, and then. A book that I didn't read in August, which I want to read this month, is How Beautiful We Were by Mbolo and Bew. So I made a video talking about books that I thought were going to be 5 stars, and this appeared on that video. And then David picked my TBR for August, and he picked this book, and I just didn't get around to it, but I really would like to. So this is set in a fictional village in Africa, and it's a story of people living in fear amidst an environmental degradation wrought by an American oil family. So pipeline spills have made farmlands infertile, children are dying from drinking toxic water, and promises of cleanup and financial reparations are made and broken. So you're following a young woman's willingness to sacrifice everything for the sake of her people's freedom. Sounds amazing, and yeah, I wanted to read it in August and just didn't get around to it. And then from that same video, I picked another book that I thought was going to be 5 stars that I'm reading now, and that's Complicit by Winnie M. Lee. When I offered David up the things, he read this and he was like, oh, that sounds like I'd really like that. And I'm hoping, because the weather's going to be a bit cozier and stuff, maybe David and I get back to reading aloud to each other. So I'm hoping that we can pick this up and start reading this aloud to each other in September, because we did do that for the first 3 months of the year. And then life was busy and stuff like that. So, although saying that, September is a really busy month for David. So maybe we won't get around to that. But I will be reading this, whoever I'm reading it to. Then some more books before I get onto the library books. Oh, I'll move that library book up there, because that was included. Oh, you got a little glimpse of that now. I bet if you own that book, you will know what that is. I have been recently sent a whole host of books by Jamaica Kincaid from Book Break. And I would love to read some of them. So I've basically picked the slimmest one. So I was sent 5. Annie John is another one, and the autobiography of my mother. Lots of lovely books. I'm trying to find another one. I can't bend backwards. Oh, Among Flowers, and this one is At the Bottom of the River, and I've picked this one purely because I wanted to read some Jamaica Kincaid this month, and I've gone for the shortest one. So this is her first published works, and it collects pieces written for the New Yorker and the Paris Review between 1978 and 1982, including Girl. So these look like some sort of like longer form, maybe short stories, and some that are only like just a couple of pages. So yeah, her first published work. Maybe this is a good entrance piece to it. If you are a big Jamaica Kincaid writer, then let me know if you enjoyed this one or if you've got a favourite, because I'll go to that after this, I imagine. Then I've been reading. I had to pause reading this because I was had to read the book club book, but I've been reading. Oh my God, what is it called? It's got really long. You Make a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Akwaeke Emeze. I am absolutely loving that book, and I think it might be one of my favourites of the month. So hopefully by the time you've watched this, you've seen me maybe wrap it up, or maybe seen it on Instagram, because I was quite close to finishing it, and I imagine I'll finish it this weekend. But I loved it so much, I thought I would like to read some more Akwaeke Emeze. So I've picked up from my shelf Pet, which is a YA book, I believe. And this says here, Pet is here to hunt a monster. Are you brave enough to look? There are no monsters anymore, or so the children in the city of Lucille have been taught. Jam and her best friend Redemption have grown up with this lesson all their lives. But when Jam meets Pet, she begins to question what she's been told. Pet has come to hunt the evil lurking in Redemption's house. But how do you save the world from monsters if no one will admit they exist? So yeah, I just loved her writing. Or is it her writing or their writing? It's there. I just love their writing so much. In You Make a Fool of Death with Your Beauty. So I'm hoping that I enjoy this as much. So there we go. Then I've got a proof copy, but this book did come out in July, and this is The House of Fortune by Jessie Burton, which is the sequel to The Miniaturist. And I've read The Miniaturist many years ago, pre-booktube or even, and this sort of like screams sort of coziness for me. I think they're going to be super cozy books. So I'm going to listen to, so I'm saying I've got 21 books here. Here's another one to add to the book, to the TBR, 22. I'm going to listen to the audiobook of The Miniaturist. Hopefully I'll be able to get that on Libby, otherwise I'll buy it on Audible. And then follow it up with The House of Fortune, because I can't really remember anything about The Miniaturist apart from it being a doll's house. And I'm a bit loath to read the back of this because I want that to unfold as it goes. So I'm not going to read the back of this. This is just the sequel to The Miniaturist, and hopefully I enjoy doing it. It's a lovely, it's got a little pineapple on there, so yeah, looking forward to that. Then I've got a book that I picked up when it was independent bookshop week, and I picked this up from an independent bookshop in Faversham. It's called A Million Aunties by Alicia Mackenzie, and this says, seeking solitude after a personal tragedy upends his world, artist Chris travels to his mother's homeland Jamaica in a bid to find peace. He expects to spend his time painting alone, coming to terms with his loss and the fractured relationships with his father. Instead, he discovers a new, extended and complicated family with their own startling stories. Can they help him to become whole again? And that sounds exciting, but also it's told from different points of view, which I love. It's a compelling and deeply relatable novel about friendship, community, chosen family, and I love books about chosen family, and healing after trauma. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading that as well. And then last, before I get onto the library books, is Becky by Sarah Maine. I only hauled this last week, and this is Succession meets Vanity Fair, and it just sounds like it's going to be absolutely brilliant. I read the blurb out in that video, so I'll link that down below if you'd like to go and find that out. But yeah, David and I watched all of Succession, all 3 series at the beginning of the year. Literally, I think we started it on New Year's Day, and yeah, this sounds amazing. I think David might even want to read this as well, so there we go. So that's the books. I mean, that would be an amazing TBR as it is anyway, but then also I've got loads of really cool books out from the library at the moment, so I'd also like to prioritise these library books over the other ones that are still here. I've even started a sort of library pile on the floor because there's no room for library books anymore, but let's move them over. So heavy. Oh, they're so heavy. And I think I slept funny last night because I've got a bit of a twinge in my back. We'll just flop them on me like that. So the first one is Paper Girls Volume 1. Now, I do own Paper Girls Volumes 1, 2 and 3. Can't find them anywhere. I can only assume they're in storage somewhere. I got this out because David wanted to read this volume 1 of Paper Girls before he watched the TV adaptation. He read it in... Did you read this in one sitting, David? He's got his headphones on. Did you read Paper Girls in one sitting? Yeah. And he was saying, do you want to watch it? And I would like to watch Paper Girls, so I'm going to read this before we watch it. So we're at the moment, we're watching a few other bits at the moment, so I don't imagine it will take me very long. I probably can sit and read it in one sitting as well. So I will read this at some point. Then I've got a non-fiction book. So a few of these you might have noticed, you might have seen in my library haul from last week, but a few of them have been like sat here waiting for a long time, so they're not all ones that are going to be familiar. This first one is. That's The Mixed Race Experience by Naomi and Natalie Evans. Reflections and Revelations on Multicultural Identities. It's a non-fiction book, but from the people who run the Everyday Racism Instagram account, and it's basically what it says on the tin, The Mixed Race Experience. And I said when I hauled this, and I will repeat it now, is that I'm always interested in reading about from black non-fiction from black and people of colour authors, but there doesn't seem to be, until recently, that much stuff about race experience in the UK. It's always been very American based, so it's exciting to be able to read this from a UK perspective. So yeah, looking forward to reading that. Then I've got The Night Tiger by Yangtze Chu. I got this out from the library because it was included as one of the big Jubilee reads on Between the Covers. It's set in 1930s Malaya, and 11-year-old houseboy Ren has a secret mission to find his dead master's severed finger and reunite it with his body. Ren has 49 days or else his master's soul will roam the earth forever. Ji Lin, an apprentice dressmaker, moonlights as a dance hall girl to pay her mother's debts. One night, Ji Lin's dance partner leaves her with a gruesome souvenir that leads her on a dark trail. As time runs out for Ren's mission, a series of unexplained deaths occur amid rumours of tigers who turn into men. In their journeys to keep a promise and discover their truth, Ren and Ji Lin's paths will cross in a way they will never forget. So yeah, this was published quite some time ago, I think, which is why it's appearing in there. Oh, I say quite some time ago, 2019. I suppose these couple of years have felt quite long, but there we go. Then I've got Light Seekers by Femi Kayode. This is a crime thriller, and it's it's told in like a bit of a different way to your normal crime thriller. So 3 students are brutally murdered on a Nigerian university town, and their killings and their killers are caught on social media. So the world knows who's done these murders, but nobody knows why. So this is the legal trial looking into so an investigative psychologist, Philip Tai Wu, is contacted by the father of one of the boys, desperate for answers to his son's murder. But Philip is an expert in crowd behaviour and violence, not a detective. After travelling to the sleepy town that bore witness to the horror, he soon realises that someone really doesn't want him there and will do anything to prevent him learning the truth. Will he uncover what really happened to the Okriki 3? Sounds great, doesn't it? Then I've got Girlhood by Melissa Phoebos. Got this out from the library because I saw it on Mercedes' channel. This is Melissa examining the narrative women are told about what it means to be female and what it takes to free oneself from them. And it says here, when her body began to change at 11 years old, Phoebos understood immediately that her meaning to other people had changed with it. By her teens, she defined herself based on these perceptions and by the romantic relationship she threw herself into headlong. Over time, Phoebos increasingly questioned. I say Phoebos or Phoebos like it's, I should find out really, shouldn't I? Because if people were saying Lauren, I'd be like, well, actually it's Lauren. Phoebos increasingly questioned the stories after she had been told about herself and the habits and defences she developed over the years of trying to meet others' expectations. The values she and so many other women had learned in Girlhood did not prioritise their personal safety, happiness or freedom, and she set out to reframe those values and beliefs. So this is investigative reporting, memoir and scholarship all blended together. She charts how she and others like her have reimagined relationships and made rooms for the anger, grief, power and pleasure women have been taught to deny. Sounds fucking well good. Next up is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. Now, Zevin, sorry. I originally got this out from the library thinking David would like it based on this first line. 2 kids meet in a hospital gaming room in 1987. And David read, well, I don't even think he read the first chapter. He read the first couple of pages and he really didn't like it. He was like rolling his eyes and being like, oh, I don't think I'm gonna like this. And then once he sort of decided he wasn't gonna like it, he didn't like it, so he's given up on it. By the way, these end papers are amazing. The lovely different rainbow colours. But I feel like I would like to give this a go. And also I've seen it mentioned on 2 different people's Instagrams recently as one of the best books they've read this year. So it actually said one of the best books I've ever read by John Green. So yeah, I would like to give this a go. And I've already mentioned it a few times, so I won't tell you any more about the blurb, but yeah. And this front cover is so good. Then I've got I Belong Here by Anita Setti. This is nature writing from Anita Setti, a journey along the backbone of Britain. And yeah, I really love nature writing and would love to read more about Britain and nature writing and told from the perspective of a woman of colour. Yes, please. Looks as though it focuses on the Pennines, which is sort of, how would you, well, like, sort of like the very north of England, almost up to Scotland. So yeah, looking forward to reading that as well. And then I've got In Every Mirror She's Black by Lola Akimadi Ackerstrom. And this is about 3 very different women who are desperate for their lives to change. Those strangers, they're drawn to the same place, Stockholm, a city famed for its egalitarianism. But beneath the city's glittering surface lurk challenges old and new, challenges that threaten to tear them down once and for all. Yes, please, to a book set in Stockholm. Then I've got Celestial Bodies by Jokha Al-Harthi. This won the Man Booker International Prize in 2019. This is lovely. I didn't plan this, but I got it out from the library, and when it arrived it was the large print books, which means I can read it in the bath with no glasses on, so it makes me very happy. This is set in the village of Al Awafi in Oman, where we encounter 3 sisters: Maya, who marries Abdullah after heartbreak, Asma, who marries from a sense of duty, and Kalwa, who rejects all offers while waiting for her beloved, who has emigrated to Canada. These 3 women and their families witness Oman evolve from a traditional slave-owning society, slowly redefining itself after the colonial era, to the crossroads of its complex present. Elegantly structured and taut, Celestial Bodies is a coiled spring of a novel, telling of Oman's coming of age through the prism of one of family's loves and losses. Then I've got These Impossible Things, both of the, I think maybe all 3 of these I've seen on Mercedes' channel, so there we go. This is These Impossible Things by Salma Al-Wadani. Actually, I think this is again about a group of women. I've got quite a lot of books this month about groups of women. This charts the dreams and disappointments of a group of British Muslim women, Jenna, Bilkis and Malak, and they've been friends for most of their lives, the 3 of them against the world. Yet one night everything between them and that changes, and they are left adrift, marooning from each other as their lives take different paths. Without one another's support, nothing seems seems to go right, and in the wake of heartbreaks, marriages, new careers and new beginnings, will they need each other more than ever? Will they be able to forgive each other in time? So yeah, sounds great, doesn't it? I've just seen I'm looking forward to reading that very much. Then Night Crawling by Layla Motley. And this, again, I'm sure I saw this on Mercedes. Lots of lovely pink books this month as well. Kiara Johnson does not know what to do, what it is to live as a normal 17-year-old. With her mother in a halfway house and an older brother who devotes his time and money to a recording studio, she fends for herself and for 9-year-old Trevor, whose own mother is prone to disappearing for days at a time. As the landlord of their apartment block threatens to raise their rent, Kiara finds herself walking the streets after dark, determined to survive in a world that refuses to protect her. Then one night, Kiara is picked up by 2 police officers, and the gruesome deal she is offered in exchange for her freedom lands her at the centre of a media storm. If she agrees to testify in a grand jury trial, she could help expose the sickening corruption of a police department. But honesty comes at a price, one that could leave her family vulnerable to their retaliation and endanger everyone she loves. That sounds bloody good as well. Actually, surprisingly, this is not even that long for a big tall paperback. I've got The Disaster Tourist, another one that's not even that long. So actually, I'm saying this is like, I've got a lot of books here which are like not over 200 pages. She's gonna do it. I've got every faith that maybe not 22. Imagine if I did 22 books in a month. I should challenge myself one month, shouldn't I, to try and do a book a month. But then are you gonna get like as much enjoyment out of it? Anyway, The Disaster Tourist by Yun Cohen, and this is about a young woman who is working for a Seoul-based company that specialises in tours to ecological disaster zones, and one of her bosses sexually assaults her, and as a sort of like payoff, they try to bribe her with a free tour to Mui, an island off the coast of Vietnam known for its giant sinkhole, and she becomes trapped on the island. Yeah, it says it's a blackly comic caper with a real satirical bite. Yeah, very good. And then lastly, I've got The Last Story of Mina Lee by Nancy Joo-yoon Kim, which is on Reese Witherspoon's book club, and this is set in so it starts in 1987, where Mina Lee flies from Seoul to, I think I said that the first time around as well, flies from Seoul to Los Angeles to start a new life, and then 30 years later Margot Lee speaks to her mother for the last time, so it's a mother-daughter sort of generational thing. So between these two moments extends a lifetime of secrets. These are stories of unexpected loves and devastated losses, of choices made and left behind, of mother and daughter who have always struggled to understand each other. These are stories waiting to be told before it's too late. So yeah, an amazing selection of books. If I was watching someone else's TBR and they were talking about all those books, I'd be like, bloody hell, they all sound great. So I'm really, really excited about this month's reading. Really, really, as I said, got a bit more time to read this month as well. And yeah, I guess we'll see how I get on. What of these books have excited you? Would love to hear. What's the most books you've ever read in a month? Would like to hear that. Let me know down below. And I'll speak to you all soon for another BookTube video. Yeah, bye.